Hello, and welcome to episode number 98 of WrestleRotica, the podcast that combines wrestling with erotica. This week we have 3 stories to share with you. The first story is entitled, Started with a Hug and Ended with a Bang. While on vacation in Florida, one of Bayley's old friends calls her and lets her know that he is visiting. She decides to join him on the beach, and the two quickly become reacquainted. The second story is entitled, Signing Sting. Vince forgot that he had a meeting to sign Sting to a contract, so he sends his daughter Stephanie. Sting tells Stephanie that he doesn't want to sign with the promotion, but Stephanie comes up with a plan to get him to join the WWE. The third and final story is entitled, After Raw Payback. Charlotte is frustrated that she keeps losing her championship title to Sasha Banks because of Bayley. She decides to meet up with Bayley and get her some revenge, or at least, that is the initial plan. Without further ado, let's get to this week's stories. This story is entitled, Started with a Hug and Ended with a Bang, and it was written by JMK615. I was on vacation in Florida when I decided to call an old friend I've known for 7 years, but haven't seen in 3 years due to her work. I pulled out my phone and hit call, but it went to voicemail.
Hello, we are not available now. Please leave your name and phone number after the beep. We will return your call.
An hour later, I went to the beach to catch some sun. After 20 minutes at the beach, my phone rings.
Titties and beer.
Titties and beer.
Titties and beer.
Titties and beer.
I look at my phone and it's my friend. Bayley, how you doing? I answered my phone. I'm good. How are you? Bayley asked. I'm great. I'm actually on a beach in Florida. I said. What? You're in Florida? Bayley asked. Yeah. Just got here today for vacation. I said. What part of Florida? Bayley asked. I'm in Orlando. I said. Sweet. Me too, Bayley said. You should come hang with me at the beach, I said. How long are you going to be there? Bayley said. I'll be here for another hour or two. I'm at Fairview Beach, I said. Okay, cool. I'll see you in 20, she said. About 20 minutes later, Bayley met up with me on the beach. I jumped up and got a big hug from Bayley, who was looking great in her bikini. It's so good to see you, Bayley said with a smile. Yeah, it's great to see you, I responded. We laid down on our towels and caught up on what we've been doing. I was so proud to see Bayley get to WWE. All of a sudden we noticed we talked on the beach for 2 hours. You want to grab some dinner? Bayley asked. Yeah, sounds good, I said. Cool, I know a great place, Bayley said. Nice, we better get changed though, I said. Yeah, I'll shower at your hotel. I got a change of clothes in my car, Bayley said. Okay, cool. Let's go, I said. We showered and changed, then went to the restaurant, where we caught up some more and had some great food. After dinner, we headed to Bayley's place to watch some TV and hang out.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again.
Stay right here. I got something to show you, Bayley said, walking her nice butt into her bedroom. Okay, come on in, Bayley said after a minute. I walked into her bedroom and Bayley stood there, fully nude. Bayley walked up to me undoing my belt, dropping my pants down to the ground. Lay down on the bed, Bayley said, licking her lips. I removed my shirt and laid down on the bed, as Bayley knelt on the bed next to me, wrapping her fingers around my cock, gliding her hand up and down before licking my tip with her tongue. I reached my hand over and started rubbing her wet pussy, as she started smacking my cock on her tongue like a porn star. Oh, I love your dick, Bayley said, staring at me, while licking from my balls to the top of my shaft. Oh, damn, Bailey, I said as she engulfed my dick with her warm, wet mouth, bobbing up and down, swirling her tongue around so fast, I felt like I was gonna come right there. But I didn't. And it felt way too good to make her stop. I started rubbing my hand along her nice ass and giving it a couple slaps, which just turned Bailey on even more, bringing out the inner freak in Bailey. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Slap my ass, babe! Bailey said softly before going back down on my dick, like she was trying to suck a golf ball out of a garden hose. 4! After another minute, I grabbed Bailey by the hair and slowly lifted her head off my dick, then laid her down, kissing her on the neck, as I grabbed her boob with one hand and rubbed her sweet pussy with the other. Oh, yes! Bailey moaned from her innocent pussy being played with. I slowly worked my head down her body, kissing all the way down till I reached her lovely pussy. I slowly started to lick her clit, while plunging 2 fingers as deep as I could, making her moan. Oh, yes! Just like that! Bailey said softly, as I parted her pussy lips and buried my face into her love box. Her body trembled as my tongue touched the wet walls of her tight pussy. Oh, fuck. Bailey screamed out, surprising me, because I've never heard her say fuck before. I continued lapping my tongue in, out, and all around her pussy, tasting her juices in my mouth. Come on, baby! Give me the dick! I need it! I need it bad! Bailey begged. I moved up the bed, sinking my hard cock into her tight pussy. We locked lips as Bailey ran her nails down my back, wrapping her legs around me as I thrusted faster and deeper into her. Oh, yeah! Harder! Fuck me harder! Bailey grunted. I twisted her nipple, causing Bailey to bite down on her lip, giving me a lustful stare as my ball smacked against her ass, from me thrusting faster into her. I want to ride you, please? Bailey begged again, knowing it turned me on. I turned onto my back and she slowly lowered her pussy onto my cock in reverse cowgirl, letting out a moan and giving me a perfect view of her ass. I put both hands on her sweet butt while she drove herself up and down on my cock with such force I thought she was going to break the bed. Oh yeah! Oh yes! Ride my cock, baby! I said, grabbing firmly on her cheeks, as she moved her hips, slamming herself down on me. After a few minutes of riding, Bailey decided she wanted to be fucked, doggy style. Before letting me get up, she drove her hand down my chest and driving her mouth back down on my dick to taste her pussy juice. Come and fuck me! Bailey said, looking back at me. I first rubbed my hand from her neck down to her ass, as I slowly inserted the cock back into Bailey. Oh, yes! That feels good! Bailey purred. I grabbed onto her hips and began to hump her like it was the last thing I'd ever do. I leaned forward and reached under to grab one of her tits, as I kept up the pace, driving deeper and deeper into her. Yeah! You like my tits, don't you? Bailey asked before letting out a loud moan. Pull my hair and fuck me hard! Bailey then said, as I watched her ass slam against my waist. I grabbed her by her ponytail and slammed my cock inside as hard as I could. Yes, 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 fuck me just like this, baby! I'm gonna come! Bailey screamed as I watched the sweat drop off her sweet body. I pushed Bailey's face into the bed, removing my hand to grab both ass cheeks with both hands, and punishingly pound her pussy. Oh, yes! Bailey moaned louder. Come on my ass, baby! Bailey requested. I thrusted a few more times before pulling out and shooting my load all over her ass. Bailey turned around, grabbing my cock and sucking it dry, while staring up at me. She was the best fuck I ever had, and she gave me the best blowjob ever.
I am the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
You are amazing, I said to her with a smile on my face. You are too, she said. Bailey got up, went to the bathroom, and turned the shower on. A minute later, she came back to the bedroom. Want to join me in the shower? she said. I jumped off the bed and chased her into the shower for round 2. The end. This story is entitled Signing Sting, and it was written by WoW FM member Trish Belongs to Me. Stephanie! An eager Vince called out. He was sitting behind his desk looking through stacks of papers. Stephanie walked into the room wearing a tight, white sleeveless that completely showed off the shape of her huge breast. On normal days, Vince would stare at them and all, and give an excuse on why he should touch them. But he was way too busy. Steph! I dug myself in deep now. I completely forgot about my meeting with Sting. Sting? You mean the Sting from WCW? Yes! I wanted to discuss a possible WWE contract with him. I need you to go down to Utah and do it for me. But Dad! It's a 5-hour drive. Stephanie, I don't care how you get down there, but do it now, or I'll give Shane your brand. Stephanie pouted a bit, but reluctantly packed her bags in her car and went. Stephanie stopped at a large house in the middle of the city. She was halfway asleep when she arrived, but she stepped out of her car and walked up to the door. Stephanie struggled with the large briefcase as she knocked on the door and waited. The door opened silently, and Stephanie peered in to see Sting sitting on his couch in a bathrobe. Stephanie was staring at his face and wondering. Sting stood up and greeted her. Hey, you must be Vince's daughter. Stephanie still stood stunned, staring at his face. What? I don't wear my face paint all the time. Huh? Oh, sorry, I guess I'm a little... Wait a second. Did you come here to talk about me signing with the WWE? Stephanie smiled and opened her briefcase. Yes, actually it is. You see? Sting walked to her briefcase and closed it. Sorry, no deal. I keep telling your old man I'm not interested. Why not? I am WCW to the core, Steph. I'm not going to become a traitor like that. Look, maybe you should leave. It's kind of late. Stephanie was pissed. She had drove for 5 hours just to get rejected. She was not taking it very well. She almost went crazy until she came up with a plan. Sting started to head off, but Stephanie called out, But you could be on SmackDown. Sting looked back and responded, So what? Stephanie slowly walked up to him, staring into his eyes. Her hands were tightly embracing her ass as she continued to speak. That's the event I am on, which means we could see each other almost every day. Her hand slowly slid to the bottom of her shirt as she lifted it up over her head. Her huge breast swung down and Sting nearly choked. He stared at her huge nipples and the nice plump shape of the breast. She continued to walk towards him until she came face to him. Me and you together. Every day? Sting leaned forward to kiss Steph, but she stopped him just as their lips met. She drew out her tongue and licked his dry lips. She embraced him tightly as they met with a full-on French kiss. Sting slid his hands down her back and into her black tights, filling on her fat round ass that her thong hugged tightly. Stephanie let go of him and shoved him into the living room wall. Stephanie smashed into him and once again they embraced in a deep kiss. Stephanie withdrew the kiss and sloppily licked Sting's cheek. Sting was completely in her control. She held onto his head and licked and bit his ear. Sting rubbed her huge tits until she gave him an opportunity and sucked on them. She held her breast up to him as if he were a baby, and he wrapped his lips around her large nipples. He slurped and sucked on it until it was sore, and then moved on to the next one. Sting lifted Stephanie and carried her into his bedroom. He placed her on the bed and instantly went back to her breast. As he licked up her breast, he moved his hands to her tights and fought to pull them down. He finally pulled them down to find her soaking wet thong. He hung his face over it and slowly pulled them down. Sting gazed at Stephanie's perfect pink pussy. Not too tight, not too loose, and shaved. Damn, Steph! You really must be worth $1 billion. This pussy is perfect. It tastes much better than it looks. With that, Sting rubbed his tongue along her pussy. Stephanie clutched her breast and moaned in pleasure. That's it, baby. Sting dug his tongue deep in her pussy and pounded it in. Oh, fuck yeah. Stephanie couldn't control herself as she grabbed onto Sting's head and bounced it up and down her pussy. Sting clutched her breast and massaged them as Stephanie went out of control. Yes! Yes! Stephanie felt she was about to come and nearly ripped Sting's hair off. Stephanie's pussy juice poured into Sting's mouth. Sting licked it all up and swallowed every bit of it. Stephanie was way too tired to go on. That was great! What are you talking about, Steph? It isn't over yet. Sting flipped Stephanie so that she was laying on her stomach. Sting spread her legs open so that he could slide his dick into her ass. Stephanie screamed just as it went in. Shit! Not the ass! Sting slammed his dick deeper and deeper into her ass. Fuck! Please, not the ass! Sting was loving the feeling of Stephanie's tight asshole, grasping his dick and jacking it off hard. The deeper he got, the more Stephanie would scream and cry. His balls slapped across her fat ass as he moaned, knowing his cum was about to shoot out. He quickly took out his dick, which made Stephanie sigh loudly, and laid her on her back. He slid his dick into Stephanie's mouth and stuck it in as far as he could. Stephanie was almost choking on it because it came in all of a sudden. After a few pumps, Sting's cum filled Stephanie's mouth. She let it all run down her throat until it all leaked out. Stephanie put on her clothes and grabbed her bags when Sting put his hands on her shoulder. Steph, I don't know what I'm getting into, but you convinced me to join the WWE. Really? Gee, I wonder how I did that. So, we'll meet again to sign the papers. But next time, let's meet at your place. The end. This story is entitled After All Payback, and it was written by WoW FM member Green Cast. After Charlotte lost the women's title to Sasha Banks, she was understandably in a pissed off mood. She has lost it twice to the same person within the span of less than 3 months, and in her mind, there's only one person to blame. Bayley. If it wasn't for her, Dana wouldn't been out there and help her retain the title on Raw. As she's looking for her, she passes by the trainer's room. As she peeks in, she sees Dana on the table, nursing her knee. Charlotte, visibly concerned, walks in, and before she even says anything, Dana is already apologizing. Charlotte! I'm sorry. I wasn't out there. I know I shouldn't have let Bayley attack me like that, but I was stupid and... But before Dana could continue, Charlotte bit her finger on her lips as a sign for Dana to be quiet. It's okay. It's not your fault. It's that bitch Bayley's fault. She had no reason to even put her hands on you. Don't worry. I'll get revenge one way or another. This eased Dana up a bit, knowing Charlotte wasn't mad at her for her losing the title. She sighed a deep breath of relief. I'm glad you agree with me, Dana said. They hugged before Charlotte went back on her mission to find Bayley. As she got to the locker room, she noticed that it was empty, except for one shower. Charlotte already knew who it was before she got in the showers. Thanks for the title, Charlotte, Sasha said as she got out with only a towel covering her small, petite figure. Charlotte wasn't concerned about her, though. She just wanted Bayley, and Sasha is the only person that could possibly know her whereabouts. Not now, Charlotte! I just want to know where Bayley is, and you're the only person who most likely knows where she's at. Do you know? Charlotte asked, doing a good job of being sincere through her anger. Sasha, confused at the fact that Charlotte wanted to know Bayley's location, hesitated, but said, Yeah, I know. I'll write it down in a bit. After Sasha got done dressing, she wrote down Bailey's hotel number and handed it to Charlotte. "Thanks, Charlotte. I'm gonna take a shower now," Charlotte said before heading off. But before going in, Sasha asked a question Charlotte wasn't hoping for. "Sorry for being nosy, but what do you need Bailey for?" Charlotte hesitated, thinking of an excuse. I need her for planning a feud," Charlotte said, immediately regretting it. "Oh, okay. Sorry. Just needed to know," Sasha said before leaving. Charlotte breathed heavily, not thinking it would work. After making sure she was alone, Charlotte stripped nude before stepping into the showers. As she was washing over her body, she was thinking of what to do to Bailey. Thoughts came up. Humiliation, blackmail, all seemed great. Then something else came up. Sex. Charlotte hasn't gotten any sort of real pleasure ever since WrestleMania, but Bailey seemed like the perfect target.
Oh yeah!
As if on instinct, Charlotte reached for her C-cup tits and started to rub and pinch her nipples, fantasizing about her and Bailey. Before she reached down to her shaven pussy, she remembered her mission. She quickly got out and put on a skin-tight pair of black jeans that barely got past her ass, a do-it-with-flair shirt, grabbed her bag, and headed to the hotel. 10 minutes later, Charlotte was already in the elevator, approaching the 3rd floor. As soon as she got to the hallway, to her left was Bailey's room. Hesitantly, she knocked. After about 15 seconds of eerie silence, the door cracked open, and a familiar face whispered, "Who's there?" "It's me, Bailey." "I want to talk," Charlotte basically demanded. "Hold on for a little bit," Bailey said, still whispering. After about a minute, Bailey opened it, just enough for her head to pop out and look around, before completely opening it to reveal her just in a towel, like she just got out of the shower. Charlotte, stunned, quickly got wet just seeing her. "Hey, Charlotte, you want to come in or what?" Bailey said, seeing Charlotte was dazed. Charlotte snapped out of it and quickly stepped in before anyone saw Bailey or her in the same room. As she got into the suite, she finally breathed and sat down on the couch across from Bailey's bed. "So, what you need, Charlotte?" Bailey said as if she wasn't basically nude. "Revenge for Dana." She said before taking the towel away from Bailey, exposing her landing strip above her pussy and B-cup-sized breast for a slight moment before covering herself. "What the hell was that for, Charlotte?" screamed Bailey, before Charlotte slapped her across the face, pushing her onto the bed. Charlotte then covered Bailey's mouth and quickly whispered, "You're alive tonight." Bailey then relaxed, admitting Charlotte was stronger, and as Charlotte's hand left her mouth, she said, "I always knew you wanted to fuck me," in a lustful way. This took Charlotte's rage and anger into a lustful emotion as her and Bailey started kissing, exploring each other's mouths. After the passionate kiss, Charlotte stripped down for Bailey, showing her ass first with only a tiny blue lace pair of panties covering her. Bailey soon started to rub her pussy, but Charlotte slapped Bailey again. "Just watch!" Charlotte said as she got up and continued. She then took off her shirt to reveal a matching blue lace bra to Bailey, who was barely resisting touching herself, but being successful. Charlotte then had an idea. She took off her panties and walked over to her bag to get her phone. When she got to the bed, she sat on Bailey's face and rubbed her little pussy all over her face. Bailey then started to eat her out, causing Charlotte to moan. While Bailey was going to town on Charlotte's snatch, she started to record her on her phone eating her out. Bailey saw the phone, but didn't mind it at all. "Who's got the tastiest pussy, Bailey? Come on, tell me." Charlotte teased Bailey, lifting her ass off of Bailey's face. "You do, Charlotte," Bailey said, quickly before grabbing Charlotte's thighs back on her face to continue eating her pussy. Damn right, Bailey. Yeah, you eat it so good. Don't stop, she said before cutting the video there. Bailey was still going hard before Charlotte got up and went back to her bag. As Bailey lay there with the juice all over her face, Charlotte came back with a 10-inch black strap on around her waist. Bailey stood there in shock, knowing Aaron's cock was only 6 inches. As Charlotte got on the bed with Bailey, she whispered, "This is gonna be a long night for you, Bailey," before taking the manufactured penis and plunging at least 7 inches of it into Bailey's mouth. As Charlotte repositioned to lay on her back, Bailey started to bob her head up and down on the dildo. Charlotte started to take a video of Bailey again. "Look at the camera, Bailey," Charlotte said mockingly as Bailey stared at the camera with her beautiful black eyes. Without notice, Charlotte grabbed Bailey's head and forced her head all the way down to the balls of the strap-on. Charlotte kept her there while Bailey started to gag and her eyes teared up. Charlotte let go, Bailey coughing a lot before even starting to take a breath. Charlotte kept recording Bailey afterwards before cutting it after she started to suck again. Charlotte didn't know, but this was really turning Bailey on. Her pussy was soaking wet and was actually dripping on the carpet of the hotel floor. Charlotte then threw Bailey off of her fake dick and laid Bailey on her back with her head hanging off the bed. Charlotte grabbed her head and started bucking her hips down to Bailey, face fucking her with the BBC strap on at a high pace. Charlotte then started to record again while holding Bailey's head with one hand. Bailey started gagging before tapping out on Charlotte's thighs, but to no avail. Bailey started crying, but on the inside she was loving being Charlotte's bottom. This was paradise for Bailey. Bailey started to rub her pussy to this experience, a dream come true to her. Without notice, Charlotte slapped Bailey's big ass before whispering, "This is mine tonight." That statement left chills down her thigh, for Bailey hasn't even thought of doing anal. Bailey came back to the bed with Charlotte laying there with the 10-inch dildo erected and ready to go. Charlotte took Bailey's arm and pulled her to the bed, belly up. Charlotte then laid in front of Bailey and spread her legs. Charlotte then dove right into Bailey's tight pussy, putting half of the strap-on on in one thrust. Bailey moaned loudly before having Charlotte thrust at a medium pace. Charlotte recorded this fucking and began trash-talking Bailey. "You love this BBC and you, don't you, Bailey? I've bet you wanted my long strap-on and your tight pussy all night long, haven't you?"
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Bailey started to moan even louder before stuttering. Yeah, Charlotte. I've wanted that. Oh, fuck me. Strap on ever since I saw it. This was entertaining for Charlotte to watch Bailey submit to her. If you love it so much, then you'll definitely love this, Charlotte said over Bailey's moaning before adding 3 more inches into Bailey's snatch. Damn! This left Bailey speechless as Charlotte was bucking her hips forward now at a faster pace. Bailey had never taken this big of a dick in her life. Charlotte was still recording and laughing at Bailey for liking this. All Bailey could do was grunt and moan as Charlotte was pumping the dick into her pussy. Bailey then felt her orgasm coming inside. Charlotte! I'm gonna come soon. Oh God! I'm coming! I'm coming! But before she could come, Charlotte just pulled out. Charlotte! What the fuck? I was coming! Bailey shouted at Charlotte before getting a hard slap across the face. You don't get to say when you come. I do. You understand that, bitch? Charlotte told Bailey before she replied with a quiet, "Yes, You know what? You're getting punished, Charlotte said in a maniacal voice before pumping all 10 inches of the fake cock into Bailey at once. Bailey tried to scream, but she was breathless. Charlotte pulled all the way out before ramming it all back in, destroying Bailey's G-spot and making her squirt all over the place. This caught Charlotte by surprise because no one she knows has ever squirted as much or as hard as Bailey. After the intense orgasm, Bailey lay limp on the bed, breathing heavily, recovering from the pounding. Charlotte herself was even recovering. After about 5 minutes, Bailey was getting ready to get cleaned up, but Charlotte got in her way. "Did you forget about round 2, Bailey?" Charlotte said. Bailey then remembered during the other break, when Charlotte said that her ass was going to be Charlotte's. This left Bailey with the same feeling. Charlotte pulled her to the bed and laid her down, belly down. Bailey was getting nervous, but before telling Charlotte, she felt her tongue plunge into her asshole. Bailey was on the verge of saying something, but just let Charlotte do her job. Charlotte herself had never done this, but she was having a blast with the first time. She was loving everything. The taste, the smell, even the sound of Bailey softly moaning was enough for her. She continued to lick Bailey's asshole before inserting her middle finger into Bailey's anal passage. This sent Bailey over the edge as she started rubbing her pussy. Charlotte saw this, but instead of slapping her for it, she inserted her own 2 fingers into herself as well. She kept going, slowly adding 2 fingers. Then before inserting the strap-on into Bailey, she smacked her ass, causing Bailey to sharply breathe in, leaving a red handprint. Charlotte then took a photo of the print, then a video of her slapping it in slow motion. She got Bailey up in doggy style as she tried to push the BBC into Bailey's ass. Bailey, moaning at the slightest touch, was already enjoying it, but not for long. Bailey then felt the tip of the penis pop into her asshole. That's when the pain started to set in. She moaned loudly as the first 4 inches were added, then the next 2 inches. Bailey was in a state of pain, but in a small part of it, she also felt pleasure. Fuck, Charlotte, Bailey said through many moans. Bailey now has over half of the fake dick in her anus. Charlotte, without giving Bailey any warning, suddenly picked up the pace, going as fast as when she was fucking Bailey's pussy earlier. She once again started recording the fuck session that was going on. "You love my big cock up your ass, don't you, Bailey?" Charlotte teasingly said as she was now 8 inches inside Bailey. Bailey couldn't even utter words out of her mouth, as she was taking most of the pleasure out of this scenario. Charlotte began slapping her big ass, causing even more pleasure to Bailey, already nearing another orgasm. "Charlotte, make me fucking come! I want it up my ass more! Give me more!" Bailey shouted in a lust-filled trance. "Prepare!" Charlotte said as she wrapped her arms around Bailey's tits and started bucking all 10 inches into Bailey's ass. She kept one hand on Bailey's tits, massaging her nipples while moving her other hand down to her, entering 4 fingers into Bailey. This sent both women over the edge, as both of them climaxed at the same time. Afterwards, both women are laying next to each other, covered in sweat and cum. "That was the best sex I've had in a while, Charlotte. Thanks for that," Bailey said, still trying to catch her breath. "Same," said for you. "That was awesome," Charlotte whispered, also breathing heavily. Both women decide to shower together before Charlotte leaves for her room. They rub soap on each other's backs, getting places they couldn't reach, and kissing passionately. After being cleaned off, Charlotte said goodbye to Bailey with another passionate kiss. "Can we do this again?" Bailey said as Charlotte left her suite. Absolutely, Charlotte simply said before heading off to her room downstairs. Before finally sleeping, she sent all the videos to Dana, who was still in pain, but had he seen Charlotte get revenge for her. As a reward, Dana promised to make herself Charlotte's bitch as soon as she's healed up. Both women sent each other goodnight texts before finally dozing off to sleep. The end. Thank you for listening to episode 98 of WrestleRotica. We hope that you enjoyed this week's stories. If you enjoyed this week's stories, please be sure to like, review, and subscribe to us in iTunes. Visit us elsewhere online, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, and as always, our official website, WrestleRoticaPod.com. Thank you, and have a good week.